Hi, and welcome to the Niles Creative Workshops. These workshops are based on my 35 plus years of experience working in the recording studio, on stage, in TV studios, and many other places. I've worked as a record producer, as a songwriter, as an arranger, and as an artist. And those are the four sections that this website is split into. Um, I've worked in pop, rock, and jazz. I don't really believe that any particular style is the best style, and I would agree with Ellington that it's all about good music and bad music. And I'd rather make good music, thank you very much. Um, this website is also based on the fact that uh, I believe that there's a very close connection between having a great idea and executing that idea. And so, therefore, I'll be talking a lot about how to develop your creativity in coming up with fantastic ideas. I'll also be talking a lot about how to execute those ideas with the highest standards. Um, I have three kind of key concepts that I work with. One of them is that the idea leads to the method of execution. Um, you have to have something to say and a reason to say it, and that will lead to how to say it. And that's one area that we'll be talking a lot about. Another major area for me is the idea of always having a target. I've believed as a writer that I've always written to very clear targets, and having clear targets always helps you as a performer, as a writer, to do your best work and to do that work very quickly, because as a professional, you can't sit around waiting for inspiration. You have to have very, very strong technical abilities to be able to do stuff. And I'm going to be talking about that with you here. My third kind of key concept is that emotion plus intellect equals art. So, introducing your emotional life to your intellect will result in a work of art. People who deal purely on emotion usually don't produce very good work for a very long time, or else they take a really long time to produce that work. And people who are only intellectual, well, people are not very interested in that kind of art, because it doesn't have to do with human feelings. I will talk a lot about how to join the two together. Um, my arranging workshops will be based on my many, many years of experience writing over 40 hit arrangements. I'll be telling you how I wrote those arrangements, and I'll also be looking at some of the great arrangers of all time and some of the great arrangements, and analyzing those with you and showing you why they were so great and how those arrangements helped make those songs hits. Another area of my workshops is my songwriting workshops. In my songwriting workshops, I will be giving you my very well received 11-point plan. Now, the 11-point plan is a unique thing that I came up with after years and years of working with many great songwriters, writing many, many songs myself. Both writing songs for emotional reasons and writing songs for specific professional reasons. Somebody will say, I want a song about a hippo, I'll write a song about a hippo. So the 11-point plan is very, very, very target based. And that means that you don't sit around waiting for inspiration. You write based on a clear target, and then you use certain techniques to manifest that target in the most direct way possible. Um, Another part of my workshops is my production workshops. Again, my approach to talking about production is a little unusual, because I don't talk about technology at all. I think there are a lot of courses in production that are mainly courses in engineering. They talk a lot about what kind of compressor to use on the bass drum, and how to do this and that technically, and they talk about equipment. Quite frankly, there's a lot of people who talk about that stuff better than I do, and that's one of the reasons why I always work with a really great engineer. But I'll be talking about the role of the producer. I'll be talking about how a producer can identify a great artist rather than a mediocre artist. I will show how a producer can help that artist to become a much better artist. I'll show how a producer can work with an artist to create a very unique style and a unique work of art. I'll also be talking about how producers work with musicians to get the best out of them, how to work with engineers to get the best out of them. So the whole subject of production will be taken not only from my productions, which I'll show you a lot of and explain exactly why I did what I did and how I conceived the productions, but I'll also be showing you a lot of great hit productions and showing you why they're great and showing you what the producers did. I'm going to give you a methodology to follow, which will take a production from start to finish, right from the very beginning of how to conceptualize a production through to how to budget precisely and effectively what that production is going to cost you, and it'll be a kind of budget that you can stick to. So there's all kinds of interesting stuff that we'll talk about in terms of production. Now, the last fourth part of my website will be what I call my artist workshops. Artistic development is something that we're all concerned with. We all want to become better artists. After my 35 years in the business, I still feel that I'm developing every day. Every time I write a song, every time I make a production, every time I work with an artist, I feel I'm getting better. That's very nice. But why? Well, it's because I've worked with so many people over the years and I've learned from each one of them. And so you know, when you work with great artists, sometimes you're just so in awe of working with them that you forget what's going on. But for me, I always ask them lots of questions. How did you do that? You know, why did you do that? And over the years, I've taken notes. You know, I'm that kind of guy. I'm pretty analytical, and I would just write little things down. And so you're going to get the benefit of that. You know, the questions that I asked to Paul McCartney, the questions I asked to Ray Charles, the questions I've asked to all kinds of artists that I've been lucky enough to work with over the years. So I'll give you a lot of very, very practical techniques that you can use to become better artists. I'll talk about everything from how to conceptualize yourself as an artist. What kind of artist do you want to be? What kind of artist are you? But also, I'll be talking about very important down-to-earth things like how to develop a practice routine that you can actually stick to. I'll be telling you in all of these things, arranging, songwriting, production, artistic development, I'll be telling you not only what to do, but what not to do. I'll be giving you the benefit of my 35 years of making mistakes. And hopefully you'll be able to avoid some of those mistakes that I've made and not run into the same walls that I've run into. You know, the Niles creative workshops that we have here, it's a practical step-by-step guide to developing your creativity and also developing your output, increasing the amount of work that you do. You know, you can develop at your own speed with this thing. You can take each video that's on the workshop. You can make notes on it, think about it, work on the skills that are talked about in that one, and then move on to the next one. And of course, a great area of this workshop, maybe the most important part, is the interactive quality of it, the forum. You know, you'll be able to send in your work, your productions, your songs, your performances, and you'll be able to ask me, you know, questions about them, and you'll be getting my feedback. You'll also be getting the feedback, more importantly, in some ways, of a lot of the people on the forum who will say, man, you know, I didn't like that, or wow, that was fantastic. And of course, that helps you, because if a lot of people tell you that something's good, well, that's probably a good reason to keep on doing it. This has been the introduction to the Niles Creative Workshops. I hope you've enjoyed it. If it's interesting to you, just stick your email address over here in this little box over here, and I'll be sending you some free videos that you can get started on. And I hope you enjoy them. And do let me know. So thank you very much for watching this, and let's get started. Thank you.